Well, how did this happen to me just like that? And this misfortune occurred. Anyway, who's to blame for this and what should I do now? Very often we try to find someone to blame. When I say we, I mean people in general. People tend to look for someone to blame for all misfortunes. But we always forget that we are exactly where we are supposed to be at that very point in time and place where we are all moving. That is, absolutely everything that happens to us is the direct result of our actions. It's just that these actions are not always deliberate or, for example, understandable to us. If we translate everything I just listed and said into the language of nails and apply it, for example, even to this situation. By the way, I won't go into the origin of this particular yellow nail today. I just wanted to speak in more general terms. Because people are always thinking, yes, why did this happen to me? How could this happen? How could this happen? It actually is simple. This happens simply because a person is just not aware of what can or cannot be done with their nails or feet in particular. So we can conclude that, for example, what you see on your screen right now is actually the result of someone's efforts. The quoted word clearly refers to the owner of these nails. And I'm not trying to offend anyone or accuse anyone of anything, I just want this to be clear. After all, changes in the condition of our nails and really any changes in our body or even in the world and environment around us, of course, most often depend on us. Let's use a simple example, okay? If we eat a lot of pastries and candies, of course, we won't be happy with the result we see in the mirror. So why do we think that if we wear very uncomfortable, tight shoes, for example, something different should happen to our feet? They probably should miraculously stay perfectly beautiful. Of course not, that won't happen, because if there's some external impact on the nails, sooner or later it will lead to some changes. For example, some people might have their big toe shift to the side and develop that unpleasant bunion, while others might have their nails become thicker, more yellow, or start growing differently, very strangely curling and twisting in different directions. Of course, all of this will happen gradually, not in a single day, but most likely over time as you age. Such nails are often called elderly nails. I've heard that term. But I want to say that problems also happen to young, beautiful girls who just really love to wear fashionable shoes. I understand that fashion dictates almost impossible conditions for us. Well, often they come up with things that you don't even understand how to wear or why it was needed or for whom exactly. Conspiracies against people. Because I still have this suspicion that shoe manufacturers don't really like girls for some reason. That's okay, we got off topic. Here's what I wanted to say. I wanted to say that there's no need to be surprised, but you definitely need to try to work with it and at least do something. Of course, in a situation like the one in the video, for example, the change is already, you could say, irreversible. We can see that the big toe is already displaced. It's not in the right place. And the nail plate itself is quite deformed and is already growing differently than it ideally should. And now the question is how comfortable it is to live with this. After all, when nails become thick, a person simply can't cut them. That's why it's time to see a specialist, when you eventually have to come to us. I know many will say you should see a surgeon for this or a dermatologist for that. Yes, sometimes you need to see a surgeon. And in most cases you need to see a dermatologist because only this doctor can really give you an accurate diagnosis. We can only make an assumption and definitely send the person to get tested. Of course, most of the time when nails look like this, there is a 99.9% chance of what it is. Something went wrong, but you can't diagnose it by looking. No one has a built-in microscope in their eyes, and we certainly don't. That's why, of course, you need to get tests done in special places where they will be carried out according to all the rules and regulations, or whatever it is they have there. In general, that's not really my area of expertise. I'm really not a doctor, and I always say that, and my content isn't educational, it's just for demonstration. And the main mission that I pursue, in case anyone doesn't know, my name is Alena Lavrentieva. I just want to tell people that they need to pay more attention to their nails and feet. In particular, that most problems nowadays can be solved one way or another, or at least their consequences can be minimized. The main thing is to take care of it. It's important to think about why we are in this place and what we can do about it next. So that's today's video for you to think about. I just wanted to talk with you a little bit. I'm really looking forward to your opinions in the comments. Let's talk about it. And I really hope I didn't offend anyone, but if someone did get offended, I ask you to forgive me. I wanted to share the information so people would understand me.